The third question was about Michael Chong's private member's bill, the Reform Act. We'd like to know what you think about it and what you think its chances are as it goes forward.
Well, I was in the Conservative caucus when Michael was drafting the original reform bill, and I liked it very much. He tabled two reform bills. The one that he tabled in 2013 was the best bill. I think you'll agree with that. And then he watered it down slightly when he introduced the second bill in February of this year, and that's the bill that ultimately got debated and will be voted upon next Wednesday. And there was some minor watering down. The petition went from 15 to 20% of members of caucus to trigger a leadership review. But if you've read the newspapers in the last 48 hours, or if you had the misfortune of watching CPAC at 5:30 this afternoon, the bill was actually debated today, and it will come up for a vote next Wednesday. And it has been widely reported, and I think has been confirmed by the author of the bill, that an agreement has been reached to water down the bill to the point of making it, I think, useless. The provisions which would reverse the 1970 Amendments to the Election Act, which Bruce talked about, that require a leader to sign off of the nomination paper of a candidate, were in the original bill they were just deleted, and in the second version, each province was going to have a designated officer that I guess would be the Green Light Committee. But in this new agreed upon amendments, the parties will appoint one national officer to oversee all nominations, and I have no doubt in concluding that that will either be the leader or the leader's proxy. So we've come right back to where we started. And the second big change was going to allow caucuses to fire their leaders and elect their chairs, and codified rules for expelling and readmitting members of caucus. But the now agreed upon bill will allow a caucus after a general election to opt out of all of that. So it becomes optional rather than mandatory, and that changes nothing because it's currently optional. If a caucus, and some do, the NDP elect their caucus chairs, the Conservatives don't. So all of this stuff is optional now. The point was that not enough of it was happening, and we had to make it mandatory. So I'm very disappointed. I'm disheartened by the developments. Ironically, the Prime Minister will stand up during the next election and say, yes, I voted in favor of Michael Chong's reform bill. I'm a Democratic reform. And he will vote in favor of it, but he'll be voting in favor of a neutered, useless piece of legislation. So I'm quite disappointed, and I know Bruce shares my disappointment.
Not too much I can add to that, except just to reiterate. The first version of the bill was very good, and I was very encouraged by it. The watered-down version that we're voting on next week is an improvement. It's not adequate, but it would move things somewhat in the right direction. Something that may not have been clear with what Brent just said is the bill we're voting on next week is not amended. So these proposed amendments will come in committee later. But the fix is in. So now the three parties say they're going to vote for the bill with the promise that these amendments will be there afterward. I will vote for this bill next Wednesday because this one's not bad, but I hope that the fix will not happen and that there may be some kind of pressure or outcry so that I can vote for a similar bill at third reading. But if these amendments are put in, I will not be voting for it at third reading. So, by the way, I think highly of Michael Chong. Michael Chong is very bright. He's very courageous. He was trying to do the right thing here. I am disappointed at the decision he has taken at this point. I think he's sincere in believing that it will help move the yardsticks in the right direction. But although it is a bubble, the pressures are awesome. Brent and I know, and Michael knows, the pressures